There is something about this place that brings out genuine fear. It's much less of a shit show than the other dimensions, so maybe I can live here in peace.
No way in hell are you guys living here. I took you to this dimension to show you something.
AWW. That's nice of you. Also, your portal summoning is OP as heck, lad.
Here is the beginning of the universe. Before the universe, before the Big Bang, there were 5 gods known as the Celestials. 3 of the gods were siblings that would destroy our world as we know it. They were the god of
the damage! Hi, Billy Mays!
Their sibling rivalry was innocuous until they met their uncle, Lord Strawman, god of despair.
In the future, you will betray each other, so you might as well defeat each other before you get betrayed by them. Don't think about it, or else my plan will be destroyed. My brother has not warned you of the terrible, terrible fate you'll all have. So yeah, I better act on it if I were you.
So after dealing with crack addiction, Mike Lindell created the world's most comfortable glove, the Infinity Gauntlet. He created it in order to nullify his brother's inevitable conflict. He knew what Strawman was scheming. This glove was not meant to harm anyone. He just knew that his brothers would fall for Strawman's manipulation. Sadly, Strawman knew about this and told Phil Swift and Billy Mays that he was preparing his gauntlet in order to destroy them.
That's a lot of damage!
The battle went on for a century, many lives were claimed, but eventually, the champion stood, the rest saw the better. Their father, Mr. Roof, punished them all. He drained all of his brother's godly energy. Sadly, he punished Michelangelo even more, as he thought Michelangelo instigated the conflict, so he exploded Michelangelo, and his particles become the entire universe. He trapped his soul into the Infinity Gauntlet. Billy Mays was completely destroyed, and Mr. Roof turned his corpse into a devastating monstrosity known as the Illumination Studio. This beast and Mr. Roof's ex-god brother, Lord Strawman, developed a hatred for the arts and creativity. Strawman hated change, and Illumination Studios wanted to destroy the old. Illumination Studios eventually became too destructive for even Strawman to handle, so they parted ways. This explains why you killed Strawman so easily. Meanwhile, Phil Swift, the god of damage, became Azathoth must absorb different universe, who were all particles of Michelangelo, to bring those two brothers back to life. It feels regret for starting the conflict. So once he absorbs all the universe, that brings all of Lingel's particles together to save his brother. Whenever he absorbs something with personality, stronger personalities take momentary control over Azathoth, aside from the need to bring all particles together. This is why we've seen it represented as Lord James Rainey and Butch Hartman. This is why it was important to keep it away from the reviewers. If we didn't, their eccentric personalities may have been confusing enough to cause him to go berserk. The Infinity Gauntlet is the ability to reanimate the dead, because Michelangelo wanted to make it strong enough to make his brothers fear conflict and kill them if necessary, but also reanimate them if they go too far. So Azathoth will utilize the Infinity Gauntlet to bring back Billy Mays after it consumes the multiverse, which is apparently Phil Swift's corpse. Mr. Roof still has his multiverse-ending offensive capabilities, but fighting the god made him weaker than immortal defensively. Any attack against him will decimate him. Strawman argues against Mr. Roof, saying that he was trying to take Roof's power as he was far too reckless with it, as shown by how he killed his kids. Meanwhile, Roof argues that Strawman is more irresponsible because he manipulated him and isn't upfront about anything. They are both too weak to fight each other without dying, so they try to settle things with words.
Well, I don't know. No, stop, please. No, this is all your fault. This is all... There. No. No.
Strawman stole the Infinity Gauntlet and offered it as a reward to the valedictorian in his school so that they can bring back the kids. I went to the same school for saving the multiverse with nihilism as the Illumination Studios, which is Billy Mays' corpse, Thanos, Chalmers, and PewDiePie. Thanos was careless with his glove after he destroyed half the universe. He thought his goal was achieved, so he danced forever. We all had different takeaways from Strawman's teachings. Hughes thought that using his clapping abilities to destroy art would suffice. We don't know what Chalmers wants, and I believe the universe is a cancer that must be cleansed.
Delightfully devilish, Seymour.
What Seymour did next was what most would call a poor decision.
Give me the gauntlet.
No.
Chalmers is the embodiment of efficiency. That's why I've been needing to develop the sciences, such as teleports through dimensions, especially since he has the Infinity Gauntlet. That's my only means of escape. He hated me after I disagreed with his simple approach of retrieving the Infinity Gauntlet and joining the Illuminati to destroy humanity. He was suspicious that I was not a complete nihilist like our master wanted yet. I wasn't for a while during my trip to Japan, but I knew humanity had to pay. After Kremek gave me DNA so I could shapeshifter, it was not just for a mere time-traveling prank to inadvertently help create Ender's World. I also used these abilities in the 30s to manipulate Spinch, only adding references to Grinch in order to hook Grinch on acid so he'd feel more empathetic towards my hatred of humanity, coupled with me making the cops seem worse than usual and allowing MSNBC to spin police brutality. Despite Spinch killing me due to my annoyances with him, I went along with it for the soul. Wrong version of soul. Goddamn it, smart Alec, proofread your shit. Anyways, I went along with it in order to garner trust.
That means that literally everything bad that has happened to us is your fault. He wouldn't have blown up the Earth if he didn't see that you failed.
You're so immature. This war shows that there is a chosen one who will save the universe.
I destroyed millions of children. The children's universes. Shit, I got too under my belt.
Look at all the shit I've went through. My character arc is clearly changing the most.
I'm the titular character, so unless this is Zelda, that means I'm the most important. Shit, this is Zelda, isn't it?
You're all wrong.
Skymatch, call someone to help us.
Cool baby has it hanging, boss. Guess what?
I believe I'm the hero that the scripture is referring to, old friend.